All right, what we're going to be doing today is secant and tangent angles in a circle. So the first thing that we're going to look at is just an inscribed angle and kind of review what we learned about that. So again, an inscribed angle is going to hit the outside of your circle 3 times. So 1, 2, 3. And the relationship between an inscribed angle and the arc that it opens up to is that it is half of the arc. Okay, so if this arc is 190 degrees, we can see that this angle opens up to it. Then the angle is going to be half of that. So it's going to be 190 divided by 2, which is going to be 95 degrees. Okay, so that's the measure of A, B, C. And these are going to be noted by just a little question mark there. So it's just going to ask you which angle we're working with. Again, if this was opposite, so if this was 95 degrees, then we'd know that the arc was 190 degrees. So if you're going from angle to arc, you multiply by 2. If you're going from arc to angle, then you divide by 2. Okay, the next problem we're going to be looking at is one tangent angle, or one tangent line here. So a tangent is actually going to be extremely similar to an inscribed angle. So it has the exact same role. The angle is half of the arc, or you could say the arc is double the angle. So notice that this angle opens up to this arc here. That's the arc that it's creating. So this angle is going to be half of this arc, or you could say that this arc is double the angle. So since this angle is 60 degrees, then the arc is going to be 120 degrees. This problem is actually asking for this arc here. So since it's asking for this arc, you have to use the fact that a circle has 360 degrees in it. So since all the arcs of a circle are going to add up to 360 degrees, then we're going to do 360 minus 120, and that is going to give us our answer. Okay, and 360 minus 120 is going to give you 240. Okay, so the measure of this arc here is going to be 240. All right, so again, one tangent is going to be exactly the same as an inscribed angle. Notice the vertex is on the outside of the circle. That's how you can know that it's the same property as an inscribed. So a tangent is going to be the same thing, half of the arc, or you could say the angle doubled equals the arc. All right, the next type of problem that we're going to look at is two tangents. So this one is where it starts getting a little bit weird. So let me show you. All right, two tangents. So before we start this one, I just want to show you some property of tangents. If you have a line that is tangent to the circle, what that means is that it is perpendicular to the radius. Okay, so this is going to make a 90-degree angle. So if you have two tangents that are meeting on the outside of the circle, like this tangent is also going to make a 90-degree angle with this circle. So what we have to look at now is this shape. Okay, the shape is a quadrilateral. More specifically, it is a kite. But because this is a quadrilateral, all the angles inside of the quadrilateral have to add up to 360 degrees. Since it has to add up to 360 degrees, and these are both 90 degrees, then these two angles here have to add up to 180. So if this is angle A and this is B, then A plus B should equal 180. Okay, so the way that's going to help here is you can actually draw this shape if it helps you. All right, draw this shape. Remember, these are 90-degree angles here. And now we can say, all right, well, since this angle and this angle have to add up to 180, and this is a central angle here, that means that the central angle is going to be the same as the arc. Since this arc was 140 degrees, that means this angle is also 140 degrees. And now we can find this angle on the outside by saying 180 minus 140 equals 40 degrees. Okay, so that is our answer here. A lot of conceptual things going on here, but the main thing that you need to know is that this arc and this angle need to add up to 180 degrees. And if it helps you can draw this shape. All right, the next type of problem that we're going to do is one tangent and one secant. So tangent is one where it's touching the outside of the circle. A secant is where it's going through the circle. So let me show you this example here. All right, so this is your tangent line. This is your secant line. Okay, the way that these type of problems are going to go, you really just have to memorize this formula. Big arc minus little arc divided by 2 equals the angle on the outside. So this arc is our big arc. We're going to subtract the little arc, which is this arc, and divide by 2, and that's going to give us this angle. So what we're going to do 102 minus 100 divided by 2, and that is going to equal our angle. So 102 minus 100 is 2, and 2 divided by 2 is 1. Okay, so the measure of this angle here, in this case, would be 1 degree. You really have to memorize this formula though. Big arc minus little arc divided by 2 equals the angle. Big arc minus little arc divided by 2 equals that angle. Okay, the next problem we're going to do is two secants inside of the circle. Okay, two secants inside. And this problem is pretty similar to the other formula. The only difference is that you're going to add the two arcs on the outside and then divide by 2. So the measure of this angle or this angle, they're going to be the same, should be the average of these two arcs on the outside. So we're going to do arc 1 plus arc 2 divided by 2 equals the angle. So we're going to do 60 plus 120 divided by 2 equals the angle. 60 plus 120 is 180. So that means that our angle is equal to 90 degrees. Okay, so this angle in here is going to equal 90 degrees. Again, this formula is just arc 1 plus arc 2 divided by 2 equals the angle in the middle. And then the last type of problem that we're going to do is two secants outside of the circle. So let me show you what this one looks like. All right, here's your two secants on the outside. And it's actually the same formula as one tangent and one secant. So it's big arc minus little arc divided by 2 equals the angle. So we're going to do big arc, which is 167, minus the little arc, which is 85. And then all of that divided by 2 is going to equal your angle on the outside. So 167 minus 85, let me calculate that real quick. Y'all know I can't do mental math. Okay, that's going to be 82. So we're going to have 82 divided by 2, which is equal to 41 degrees. Okay, so the hardest part about today is that you have so many formulas that you have to memorize. So what I'm going to do is, after this video, I'm going to create another video that has extra examples. And I think that you'll really start to see just how you have to memorize the formulas here. So let me show you what your assignment looks like, and I think you'll see that it lines up perfectly with the notes. All right, so here's the assignment. The first one is an inscribed angle, so that's the same thing that we just did. The second one is two tangents, so that's where you'd have to create this shape. Otherwise, you can just say 180 minus 135. This one is actually the same type of problem as this guy up here. So you're just going to say 180 minus 120. This one you're going to have to do a little bit of extra work. It gives you this big angle on the outside, which is 255. So you actually have to subtract from 360 first. Then you'll get this angle, and then you can subtract from 180 there. All right, this one is a tangent. So you're just going to say, all right, well, since this is 70, then the arc it opens up to is going to be double. So this would be 140. And then you're just going to subtract from 360 to figure out that other angle there. This one is a secant tangent. So you're going to do big arc minus little arc divided by 2 equals the angle. And then this one, it's 2 secants inside. So you're going to do arc 1 plus arc 2 divided by 2 equals the angle. And then the last one is the same thing. So arc 1 plus arc 2 divided by 2 equals the angle. This one's going to require a little bit more work because you're going to have to make sure that you have your X in the correct place. And I'll show you an example of that in the second video. All right, so just let me know if you have any questions about this. And hopefully you're doing good and staying safe with all this coronavirus. But here are the notes. And again, this should pretty much line up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And 7 and 8 are just extra examples of those two things. Okay, thanks for watching.